Hello, YouTube. This is your old pal, Nutty.
Where are you at?
I don't know.
Which camera are you
This one.
Oh, you wanted to be on camera too?
Yeah.
All right, well, don't worry. It's not live or anything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello, YouTube. This is your old pal, Nutty. I've come out of hibernation to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And don't worry about me. I have plenty of nuts stored up for the winter. Except my two favorite nuts. So let's bring them on right now. Carrie Holzman and Mitch Morrison. Bye.
You know, we got to get Nutty into rehearsals because... Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And smooth.
It's very smooth.
That's professionalism at its best. It's Christmas Eve already.
Ready.
Woo. I like this sweater.
Ah, yes.
Mitch has got his ugly sweater on. This is from the folks over at Be Quiet.
Be Quiet with the fans and the computers and Christmas trees. Very nice.
Frankie B has just sent in $100. He says, hello, everyone, and Carrie, may your Christmas and New Year be a happy and safe one. Thanks, Frankie B. And earlier, Peter Laycock, yeah, a 50-pound contribution, says, good evening. He's in Scotland. It's only 1 o'clock here. Yeah. Good evening, Carrie and Mitch, and everyone in the chat from Edinburgh in Bonnie, Scotland, where the temperature in Edinburgh is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. And I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, thank you.
We're getting a little bit of
rain here.
Christmassy weather. Is it Christmassy? I mean, if it was cold, it would be snow.
Yeah, but it's raining here in Phoenix.
Pouring.
Yeah, here in Phoenix.
It's flooded. And it's still coming down. The pool I think the pool is going to overflow.
Top off, yeah, there you go.
Well, top off is fine, but when it goes over the top of the pool,
yeah,
backwashing is in order.
Yeah.
It's a little concerning because it's not stopping. It's been raining solid for hours.
Yeah.
But we need it. You know, it's the desert.
Yeah.
And it's good to check for leaks in the place.
I wanted to ride my motorcycle in the morning, not early tomorrow morning, but I go out about 11 o'clock because I figured there'd be nobody on the road. So, but I'm not going in the rain, and so.
No, in fact, they've canceled a lot of flights out of Sky Harbor International Airport.
I saw that, yeah.
So a lot of people are not going to be, well, they'll be arriving late, I suppose,
yeah,
when they start letting the planes land again. But, yeah, hey, Christmas Eve is
Christmas
here,
Eve.
Finally.
Yes.
Wasn't sure if I was going to make it. It's busy, very busy.
Yes.
And I thought we would save a 12th gen build for a special occasion. I only recently got the parts a couple weeks ago, and then I realized the Mugen 5 cooler, it requires a different mounting kit for socket 1700.
Ooh, this one I would imagine.
Yeah, and what I found was interesting. You know, I was really upset with how Noctua changed their very easy installation process on the U12S that I was using a lot of. And they didn't announce that they changed it in any way. They didn't change the packaging, they didn't change the price. Just that when I went to put it together, it was a complicated mess of assembly. And I sent them all back. And I'm like, why did they do that? Well, they did it so that they can be compatible with socket 1700. The problem was when I bought them, socket 1700 hadn't even been released yet. And I was angry and I sent them back. And then I ordered this processor, which is an i5 12600K, which was about, got it for $300 plus tax, so like $325. I picked up this motherboard. It was around $270, I want to say. It's a Z690 gaming motherboard, Gaming X from Gigabyte, PCI Gen 5.
Okay.
4 didn't stick around very long, did it? We
No.
went right from 3 forever, then 4, then 5.
Okay.
I'm not going to use anything special as far as a solid state drive goes. I'll stick with a generation 3. This is the this is the Sabrit M.2 NVMe drive, the Rocket Q, I think they call this. This is a 2 terabyte drive, and we'll use that in here. And I haven't decided what case I want to use on this. But what happened was I got these parts and I realized I didn't have any coolers that'll fit because I was so angry I sent all those Noctua coolers back that would have had I would have had to put it all together. Right. So I went on Amazon and I went looking to see if there's an adapter kit for the side. And while looking for the adapter kit, there's also one for the Noctua. So about $8. Okay. And what they are, and by the way, this is what Noctua should have done the whole time. You'll see this has the Scythe logo on it.
Yep.
And when we open this up, it's already assembled for us.
With the stoppers, yeah.
Yeah, all you do is slide it in there,
Boom.
drop the brackets on it, and put the cooler on.
Yep.
Noctua makes the exact same piece, sold in a little box exactly like this, and that's what they should have done with the U12S. They should have left it alone, because they're trying to accommodate every potential socket type with one cooler, and that adds an immense amount of labor and studying if you don't build a lot of computers or you don't build a lot of these coolers on how, you know, does this display go this way or this way? Do the screws go in like that, and how do they hold down? And, you know, there's little adjustments for different holes you have to pick, and if you get the holes wrong, it won't line up right. And if you put it in backwards, it will allow you to put it in backwards, and then it just won't cool well. And if you use the wrong spacers, then it won't sit completely on top of the CPU and it won't cool as well. It allows you to assemble it many different ways incorrectly without you not necessarily understanding that you did it wrong. So I was furious because I can buy a $30 cooler like a Hyper 212 and I can go through that rigmarole. When I'm paying $80, $90 for a cooler, the benefit is you slap it in there, zoom, 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 move on. So I was so upset with Noctua, I went back, and that's when I found the black version of the Mugen 5s. So I was totally happy. I bought as many of those as I could. I still have about 4 left. And then I ordered this, and I said, uh-oh, I don't have any Socket 1700 coolers. I sent those back. Well, I'm glad this all happened for a good reason, because now I've discovered you can buy these and save yourself the effort of putting it all together and worrying about doing it right. And save the time. You just slap it in there. They're $8. And if you're dropping $60, $70, $80 on a cooler, spend the extra $8 and get the plate. If you're buying a Socket 1700, you're obviously dropping some coin anyway, right? So this isn't exactly anything you would need on a budget build, because your budget build ain't going to be a Socket 1700. We know that. So if you can afford the 1700, I'm saying drop 10 extra bucks, eight or $9. And I'll be sure to put links to these for Noctua and for Scythe in the video notes. Now, I've already added the motherboard, the CPU, the CPU cooler, and this is already there.
And what RAM are we using?
That's just some Corsair Vengeance I've got laying around. It's 32 gigs.
Okay.
I figured, why open up new RAM? The thing is, I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. I don't know if like, I was so impressed with the 11900K. You know, we upgraded off camera my office PC back at Studio A. I'm so happy with it.
Screamingly
All right,
fast.
so if this is better than that, I'll be thrilled. But now this is just a midline, right? This is a 12600. There's 2 steps above this. There's a 12700, 12900. The 12900 is $629. So this is probably 3/4 the performance at half the price. And I'm not paying $629 for a chip. No way. No way. That price is going to have to drop ideally below $500. And when DDR5 is available, because there's no point in getting that if there's no DDR5 to buy. And it's probably going to be summertime before that's available. And I bet you that'll be fantastic on video editing and video rendering. Maybe not so good on gaming, because those E-cores actually create a lot of latency in gaming. So keep that in mind. Just getting the biggest, most expensive thing may not be the best thing for how you want to use your computer, specifically in this example, gaming or video editing, right? Complete different results of what's great and what's not so great. Well, we'll see. I don't know. It's my first experience with it. Gaming 44 contributes $19.99. He says, "Merry Christmas, bro. How you doing? Do you want one of my Gaming 44 sweatshirts? I got all the colors and sizes. If you want one, let me know. Hope you have a great Christmas." I wear a medium. What do you wear?
Large.
Whatever you want to send. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the contribution. Ian Gooch with a 10-pound contribution. Thank you, Ian. There's Rick Lakes. Yeah, $15.
Thank you, Rick.
Happy holidays, Carrie and Mitch. Themi K contributes $5 Canadian. Says, "Merry Christmas, Carrie and Mitch. All the best."
Michael Dane, the man. Carrie and Mitch, did you hear about the new virus called Scrooge? When you turn on your computer, it goes bah humbug. Merry Christmas to both of you.
I think I got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Planet Cryos contributes $5. He's got some more edits coming as well. I think he just edited the video where I was shocked and blindsided by the change in the Noctua cooler installation. And I'll get that posted here probably, maybe tomorrow. It'll be a grouchy video to publish on Christmas. There's Luke Greenia. Luke says, Carrie Mitch, Merry Christmas. Just did a $50 PayPal. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate you very much.
What a guy. What a guy.
McDeetha says, I'm waiting on Zen 4 too to see what it brings. Oh, I'm sure it's bringing DDR5 too. So DDR5 is coming, but it's in the hands of reviewers, but it's not really available for sale, or where you can get it. It's way, way overpriced. Scalpers have made it
obscene.
Yeah, it's just not even feasible. But give it some time. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate your generosity. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all have a happy Christmas tomorrow. I hope you get what you want. And I hope you're able to find what you wanted in stock for other people. And I appreciate all the generosity we're seeing this year. It's going to set us up really good for next year. I ordered one of those Corsair 110Q cases that was recommended. Okay. I was going to order about 3 of them, but Amazon says limit 1 per person. Well, maybe that's for the best, because if I don't like it, I don't want to be stuck with them. But I figure if it was really bad, I'd just give it away.
Try it, yeah.
Yeah, but if I like it, I guess I can order 1 at a time every 2 weeks or something. I don't know what the time period is between orders, how they make that determination. But
you and your evil twin, there's 2. All right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the suggestion, and there'll be a future video coming up.
Okay.
Well, should we get started?
All right. The motherboard.
There's Monty in the chat room. Monty contributes $20. He says, I love the 11 generation. Thank you, Carrie and Mitch in chat. Yeah, Monty got his computer, that we upgraded. Yeah. This is the second time I've done a build for Monty where afterwards I had to buy the same stuff for myself.
Right.
I was so impressed with, what was it that we did? We did something a while back. And then I did the 9900 KS. And I told Monty, you got to have a 9900 KS. So then he got one because I was so impressed with it. Then he's the first person to get an 11900K, and I was so impressed with it, I needed one. So Monty, you got to stop buying stuff for me. It's costing me too much money. No, you buy some more. All right, should we get the wireless camera out here? What do you think?
Okay, here's our board.
You got to open it backwards so people can see. Show them what it looks like in the box. This has never been opened before. I haven't even taken a sneak peek at all.
Okay.
I don't think it's taped closed, is it? Nope. All right. How exciting. Brand new, in the box. Let's go to the wireless camera.
Okay.
Which I think is this one right here. Oh, it's still, it's not synchronized yet. It's linking. I was too early. So we're waiting for the wireless box to signal. There it is. Now we're on. I jumped the gun too quickly there. Eric Hildebrand said he likes the 10850K forever. Snagged it for $300 at Micro Center about 8 months ago. That's a good chip. Absolutely.
How do you get this board out?
I don't know. I think you got to wave a dead chicken over your head and chant.
Okay. Smoke.
I can imagine you around the Christmas tree as a child, opening presents. How do I get this present open?
Smoke if you got them. All right, let's see. Here we go.
Were there any survivors when you're down there? What's going on? Toss that cardboard. Get that out of here. All right, and in the box, we got some documentation. Looks like some M.2 screws. Everything's backwards.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's SATA cables. All the standard stuff there. Cool. We're going to work on the box so we don't scratch up the countertop. It's a nice non-conductive surface. The bag is taped closed, so we'll grab some scissors. These are my Christmas scissors.
Okay.
You know what makes them Christmas scissors?
No.
It's Christmas Eve.
Okay.
After that, they'll just be regular soup.
There you go.
So I'm going to cut the Christmas tape, and then you can take off that Christmas anti-static bag and show us the Christmas motherboard. Bill Roulette contributes $5. Thank you, Bill. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. All right, we got some plastic on there that needs to be peeled off.
We do. I got you. I don't got you.
What about the other side?
Much easier.
Nothing?
I'm wearing my short nails. All right. Had a manicure. Oh, you do.
This is an OCD sufferer's dream to peel this stuff off. I can't see the edge either. Let me get my glasses. These are my Christmas glasses. There we go. What? Is that all there is? Just that little? Oh no, it goes all the way down the side here. You think that would just come off easier, right? It's intended to come off, but they like wrap it around. And then there's some on the other side here too. You think that would have just been a lot easier to peel off. But apparently, there it goes. You just got to get the right angle on it.
You missed some.
Oh, sharp eye there.
Hawkeye.
Now, look at the ports we've got on the front here.
Okay.
Count all those USB ports. You
So
can
is that
see-
we've got 4 2s, USB 2.0. We've got,
Yeah, 2 3.2s, 4 3.2s. The reds and the blues are 3.2s. Then we've got a display port and an HDMI out and there's 6 USB 3.2s. So there's 3 blue ones and a Type C, and then 2 red ones. Those are, this has the BIOS flashback. You see how it says BIOS next to USB 2 over here, right down here?
yep.
So that means somewhere there's a button on this board to flash the BIOS without a CPU or RAM in it.
Is that even a TOS link? I haven't seen one of those in quite a while.
Where? This here?
No, on the other side. Yeah. What's that?
SPDIF?
TOS link, yeah.
That's a TOS?
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere there's probably a BIOS flashback button. Oh, here it is right here. See right on the bottom of the board where they label all these connectors? See it says QFlash Plus, QFlash Plus, and there's a little
Oh, yeah.
surface mounted button right there.
Little doodad. There
All
we
you
go.
need is power to this connector
Okay.
and this connector and a flash drive with the BIOS on it. It's got to be named specifically the way they can tell you how to name it. And you hold that button down on the BIOS, the flash drive. If you have a flash drive that doesn't have an LED, it's maddening. So it helps to see the flash drive when it's working. This could take up to 10 minutes. It's a much slower way of doing it. But believe it or not, it will do that without a CPU and without RAM. Then we've got a large heatsink. I wonder what's under here. There's something under here. There's 4 screws. We've got obviously an M.2 there. I'm going to guess there's 2 more M.2s under this, if I had to guess. Should we take it off and see?
Sure, you need the...
I mean, I could open the directions, but where's the fun in that?
You need the number 1?
The black driver, please. The JIS driver. There's our metal reinforced main slot there for holding a heavy graphics card. The screws on the left are different than the screws on the right. Do you notice the heads on these screws? And then look at the heads on this side. They're very different. I don't know if those are captured. I don't want to lose them. 3 M.2s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy cow.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
3.
Now, what's interesting, these are the standoffs that hold the heatsink in place. I'm like, why is there one missing?
Right.
So these are the standoffs for mounting the M.2 drives.
Gotcha.
And then you have a separate one up here for some reason. I wonder if these are all full speed. M2MSB, M2QSB, M2PSB, that's how they're labeled.
Okay.
And then this one up here is M2A CPU. This does show it's a full length, 110 millimeter length, which obviously you could not fit here. I've never seen a 110 millimeter length M.2 before. This right here, where I'm pointing the screwdriver, that's your BIOS chip.
Okay.
This chip here, I think this is our sound chip. No. Well, this is our sound chip, I think. Amp up audio, that's your audio amplifier. And one of these, and then this one here. One of these is audio, one of these is network. If we look down at the writing on that chip, we could probably figure out which one that is. Under here, we've got our heatsink. We've got VRMs underneath these heatsinks, voltage regulator modules. And this is a pretty large socket. You can see it's physically larger than what we're accustomed to. Well, I'm starting to understand why this board was $270. You get a lot of motherboard here. Fan header, CPU fan header. I'm going to count how many fan headers we have. Oh my gosh, look down here. Fan. So this is for either a fan or a all-in-one pump. Liquid, doesn't have to be an all-in-one. Liquid pump. So 4 fan headers down here. Any others? This button right here is, see it says reset switch, so if you're trying to overclock and you have to reset the system, because this is a Z-based motherboard.
2 CPU fans up here.
Yeah. So in case your CPU fan has 2 fans on it, you have your main CPU fan and your optional CPU fan. Mm-hmm. You could use that for any fan. The optional one doesn't have to be on the CPU. Sometimes they put one up here. I'm not seeing one up here. And I don't see, let's see, how many USB 3 connectors do we have? We have one external USB 3, and then we have an external USB 3.2 C-type connector, if you have a case that supports this.
Okay.
And then down here, of course, that's our front port umbilicals down here. That's our Q flash button if we wanted to flash. So the new chip comes out and the motherboard can't see it. And you're like, well, how do you flash the BIOS so it can see it? Well, the board has to support something like this. And typically higher end boards have this. Most low end boards do not. A low end board would require you to put an older CPU in. And so this is the first CPUs available for this socket, so you're not going to have any compatibility problems now. It's when the new chips come out in the new year, the board may not recognize them without this being updated. So there's our 2 USB 2.0 external sockets. We've got a TPM module header right here, but TPM is built into the CPU since about 2016, so it's just software versus hardware. And these are being all overpriced by scalpers. It should be like $20. They're selling them for 80 and more now. It's unnecessary. You can use TPM built into a modern CPU. This is RGB lighting, both of these. LED demo. Not sure what that does. That's our front port audio right there. And then this left side is all your audio stuff. These capacitors, transistors, and whatnot are for giving you good, clean audio. SATA ports, 2, 4, 6 SATA ports here. They're labeled, identified here, and they connect in this way. And yeah, I think we covered it. What's this up here? Oh, more LED stuff. You can see this is a G, D, and V, so voltage over here. This is RGB, but they've got BRG, and then this is a 12-volt light connector. I think this is a 5-volt, if I'm not mistaken. Our serial number, I think, for the board. It's ERP ready, whatever that means. Circuit board, this is interesting how they label this. Designed in Taipei, the circuit board is made in China, but the whole thing is assembled in Taiwan, I think is how that works. It shows it's a gaming Gigabyte motherboard. Support 12th gen Intel Core processor, Z690 Gaming X DDR4, socket 1700 written right on the board. Obviously, you cannot install any M.2 drives that have heat sinks on them. unless you keep these heat sinks off. So you're going to lose your color coordination and the look of the board. I recommend buying M.2s that do not already have heat sinks attached to them. When you have a board that provides its own heat sink, it just looks better. So, okay, I think we're ready to start putting it together. I'm a little curious about the size of this CPU, because that socket looks significantly bigger than the socket 1200s we've been using.
Okay. This is what we're using. $300, you said?
Yes, I think it was on sale. Now see, that looks the same. Oh no. Oh, I see. I see. Let me take this out and I'll set it down so the camera can. Most CPUs that we work on are square. That one's a rectangle.
Oh, yeah.
Let me find a couple other chips to compare it to.
It's an odd shape.
Just to give you some size reference for people familiar with other chips that have been out for a few years, here's a Ryzen. And this, here's an i5 6th gen.
So mostly square
Yeah,
versus.
rectangular.
Huh.
That interesting?
Yeah.
But that's why there's 1,700 little landings as a socket 1,700.
Ooh.
So you're going to have 1,700 little pins there. And somewhere there's probably a notch or something in the CPU to keep it from being installed backwards. Typically the notches are on the sides, but now Intel's placed them. You look very closely on the top and bottom where my finger and thumb are.
Gotcha.
Let me move. Oh, there's two. One, two, and then matching the same at the top. And they're off center, so it can only fit in the socket one way. It won't sit flush.
Okay.
That's why they're not exactly in the middle. So let's go ahead and open this up. We'll go over here.
Oh, that's interesting. The lid didn't come up. Oh, there's two of them.
You ever lift the hood on a Corvette?
Mm-mm.
Well, on a Corvette, you know, on a traditional car, the hood lifts up like that in
Yeah.
front of the car. In a Corvette, it lifts up like this.
Okay.
So this is like a Corvette.
So did-
that latch holds this down so you
Ah.
can lift it up
Gotcha.
like that. It's like a Corvette.
Okay.
And you can see the notches that I pointed out in the socket.
Mm-hmm.
Don't touch any of those little pins. There's 1,700 of them. They're very delicate. Don't even look at them funny. And I can tell by looking at where those notches are that the CPU is going to go in the same direction, right, where the writing faces towards the bottom of the board, just like all the other Intel chips. But it throws me off with this being in front of it instead of behind it.
Okay.
So you'll see that those notches are going to line up just like that. Do you see the little notches right here? Can you zoom in on that? See how well these little I need something to point at. Let me get a pointer. All right, but I still want to get a pointer. I wanted a straight one. So we've got our notch here,
Yeah.
here, here, and here. And then the writing faces, if we pull back, traditionally when we work on these boards, we hold them, we show them this way on the camera, but now this lid is in our way. So we can go ahead and lower the lid. You'll see it doesn't go all the way down.
Okay.
And then when we slide this forward, sorry, I take that back. Why doesn't this go all the way down? It should. We might have to, let's see what happens. Is the plastic going to pop off? What's holding us back here? Maybe the plastic lid. Yeah, that's what it was. So we get rid of that. And then, do you see this piece right here? You'll notice this on the socket 2011s, the more expensive Intel builds. Instead of having that little screw that this little fork normally goes underneath on other Intel consumer-based chips,
Gotcha.
this does it more like the business chips, the Xeons and such, where this bent piece goes on top of this fork, and it pushes this whole frame down,
Okay.
and it pushes that CPU down into those pins, and we just latch it like that.
Boom. Just like that.
Yeah, so it's the same process. It's just that the latch moves in the opposite direction and it latches a bit differently. Now, to see if this little cooler mounting kit's going to work. In theory, we should be able to just pop this out and push it in. You'll see we've just got the brackets and everything else, and the heat sink and the fan is up to you to provide.
There's the bottom.
And it looks like this piece can go on this way or this way. It appears to be the same either way. We should be able to just line that up. And if you don't line it up exactly, you might be able to get one corner in and the rest won't go in. So it all has to kind of go in at the same time. Gentle. Now go ahead and set it down, and the weight of it should push it all the way through. Perfect. Isn't that an easy install? That's why it's worth the $8 or $9 for this little kit. The rest of what's in this kit, and let me get these CPUs out of the way since we're done with that demo. Do me a favor, empty those parts out for me.
Empty those parts. Okay.
All right, so we've got these plastic standoffs, just the same. These are, I'm assuming, a different height than what comes stock in the box. So you're going to use these brackets and these standoffs. Everything that comes with this on a socket 1700, don't try to recycle these parts in the box. They're not for this socket. And with the rubber side down, there's rubber only on one side, it's going to grip onto those screws and prevent the back plate from falling out on you.
Okay.
If I try to put it in backwards,
Gotcha.
yeah, so. And, boy, I can see it's not going all the way through, so just double check this. Oh yeah, it's okay. And then these brackets, as always, they go on over the lever. And because this is designed for one socket, you don't have multiple holes to pick. That's what's nice. When they make these CPU coolers for 18 different types of CPUs, it complicates the install. If you get a cooler that's specifically for a specific CPU, it just, all the holes are exactly where they need to be. So this is the same process, it's just a little less confusing, and as a result, you're more likely going to be successful if you're a novice.
Look how easy that was to install.
Yeah. So not only are you getting a great cooler for the money, the install is basically foolproof. I'm a big fan of foolproof. Now, we can take the cooler out of the box. Now here's where things get interesting. If we take a look at this cooler, this is our fan. We're going to need that a little bit later. This is our heat sink. Right here. We'll open that up. take this out. And this final box right here, that has all our installation parts. We don't need any installation parts. So the only thing we need out of this box will be the screwdriver.
And the 2 springs.
We don't need the documentation because this is really easy. Yeah, we need the fan brackets and the compound. This bracket would be great on a smaller, socket, 1200 or 115X cooler, motherboard, but we won't even use this at all. So it's no good to us. These are nothing we can use there, nothing we can use here, and then we have the fan brackets here. So that's it. We just need that, this, the heatsink and fan, and the 2 brackets. There are 4 brackets in here in case you want a push-pull configuration, along with the 2 fan headers if you also wanted to do that. That's what the CPU optional is for. It's for a CPU optional fan, meaning a fan on each side of the cooler. I don't do that. I think it's ridiculous and unnecessary. It doesn't make much of a cooling difference unless you're overclocking, but then when you're overclocking, anything goes, and just open the wallet. So I'm just going to tighten these down. And that'll make sure that back blade is pushed all the way back up against the board.
Just until it stops, right? Maybe a quarter turn, smidge, just
yeah,
a smidge more.
they'll pretty much come to a complete stop. You'll feel it. They get to a point where they get really hard to turn. I wouldn't push it any further than that. And then just double check them, because sometimes when you tighten one side, the other side loosens. And be careful not to gouge your motherboard with your screwdriver. There's circuit traces, and if you rip through those, that's not a warranty issue. But that's all there is to that. And then it's basically thermal compound time, and then we'll set that right up on top of there just like that. And those 2 screws go right into the center of each bracket, and that's done. Super easy.
Yep.
Barely an inconvenience. I am realizing we might want to put the M.2 in there now because it's getting awful close to that heatsink.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do that. So let's take a look at Sabrent's Rocket Q. That's a 2 terabyte. It was on sale. It was under $200. I feel like I'm unwrapping Christmas presents. There you go. Got something for you. Look at how Sabrent packages their drives.
Okay.
It's like a pack of mints.
Very impressive.
Isn't that nice? Little documentation, little piece of cardboard here, little foam. And that's our M.2 right there. All right, so then we'll grab the JIS driver, and we're going to go, oh, Mitch is going to take over.
Right here. This one, right?
Yes, please.
It got thermal pad, yeah. Yes, it does. Here's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where's our notchy? This is always kind of tricky because you don't want to put it up in here because that's where this goes, right? So it was a little confusing. Our notch is right there.
Yeah, the heatsink, hold on, before you do that, what Mitch is trying to say or show you,
The heat sink goes in here, so you wouldn't put
there's
this.
2 slots.
There's 2 slots.
There's
so
one right here,
where the heat sink goes.
and that's where the heatsink's going to go in here. Under here is where all the little gold teeth are.
And our little notchy.
And we want to keep that area clear of my little pointing tool because I will rip those apart. and they're very delicate. So when you're putting your M.2 drive in, be sure you're going to the
Yeah, don't try
bottom
to
socket
don't
here.
try to force it on there. Good thing I'm left-handed. Okay. I can't even see the notch. Oh, yes, I can. Too much Coke. All right. Ta-da! The gold disappears. And then will that go with this screw?
No.
No.
That's so the screw in the heat. Let's bring that heatsink back out. This captive screw here. That's our M.2 drive it's going to end right about here. So in the motherboard box, there should be a little plastic bag. In fact, we should have 4 screws. If we look on the board, because we have 4 places for M.2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's no screws. These are really super tiny screws. They are not universal. Not every motherboard M.2 screw works in every motherboard's M.2 socket. So you want to make sure you use the ones that come with your motherboard. So if I pick this up and you look in that box, we should have some small plastic bags, and ideally we better have 4 of them.
Yeah, but we only need 1.
Yeah, but is there 4?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Do those bags have a part number on them?
Good question.
Because we've learned the hard way that some M.2 sockets require different length screws. So that part number says 110-202, 110-202, 110-202, and 110-202. Wouldn't it be great if they just put 4 screws in one bag?
All right, too easy. Go ahead and put the board back. Scissors.
Oh, the Christmas scissors?
Yes.
Oh, gonna need a Christmas Band-Aid.
Very tiny. Glad it's magnetic. Wrong end. Okay. Ah, beautiful. Not too tight.
Perfect.
How's
That
that?
is perfect. I could tell by looking at it, you did it perfect. You don't want it so loose that it's gonna,
Right.
vibrate out. And you don't want it so tight that you're crushing the edge of the board. Now we can put the heatsink back on. This heatsink has thermal tape on it, and it's being protected with this little piece of plastic to keep from dust and dirt and fingerprints. So
Now?
go ahead and peel that off.
Now?
Yeah, you wait until you're ready to install it before you peel it off. And we are ready to install it. And put tab A into slot A.
Ah. How can I go around here? Is that... I'm just kidding. All right. Just like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mitch lost his job at the nitroglycerin factory for some reason.
The dynamite.
And that just sits snug.
Yeah. Boom.
And that's really mostly aesthetics. It doesn't really do much for cooling.
Okay.
Now, as for the rest of these screws, let's go ahead and put them back in the motherboard box. We don't want to lose them. They're critically important. And let's go ahead and put this heat shield back on as well. Now, I haven't checked the motherboard manual to check any performance difference in these slots. We'll cross that bridge later. And this only goes on in one direction because the screws are different from one side to the other. And you'll see it has, the screws were not being held in, and they're tiny. So that's what the screws look like on one side. And you'll notice what I was trying to show you is there's 3 strips,
Oh, yeah.
so that if you're only using 1 or 2 of the 3, you leave the other one covered up to keep it free of dirt and debris. So I'm just going to set that on there, and then there's one of the screws, and where's my other one? It's right under here. So this is a little tricky because there's nothing to guide the placement. You just sort of have to eyeball it. Somewhere around there. And I don't want to tighten these all the way down. I just want to get them started, make sure they're, like I said, there's no easy way to, there's no guide here, so it's difficult to locate how it's aligned. And in that case, it was a little sideways.
Cattywampus. Using very technical terms here.
Once I know they're all started, we're just going to snug them up. Don't over tighten these. They're easily stripped. Okay, now I think we can put the heatsink on. So we'll start with some thermal compound. And we're going to need a little bit more thermal compound. This is a bigger CPU. I don't know if that's enough. That looks like it'll be enough. Thank you.
So you say.
Just kind of estimating how that's going to spread out here.
Okay.
I use a nitrile glove to do this. Don't use a rubber glove. Don't use a nylon.
Latex.
Don't use latex. Those conduct electricity.
Yeah, it was just enough.
Just doing a little finger painting here. If you looked at this heat shield under a microscope, it's got little imperfections, little. It would look like an English muffin under a strong enough microscope. And so what the thermal compound really does is it fills in those microscopic little porous gaps, and that's going to help pull the heat off and transfer it to the bottom of the heatsink. Now the bottom of the heatsink also is going to be a bit porous under a microscope. And much like that thermal tape underneath the M.2 drive, we want to make sure to remove this tape that's covering up this polished surface, keeping it free from dirt and debris. And all we're going to do is pick this up. We don't apply thermal compound to both. It's one or the other. What's the matter? Did you get thermal compound on your hand?
No.
How does that even happen? I handed Mitch the glove, and now Mitch has. That's
Let me taste
Christmas compound.
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to set this right on top. And using the scythe screwdriver, we'll get one side started, just a couple turns, and then we go through the hole up here on the very top of the heatsink, and we'll find the screw underneath. And the one where you're putting the screwdriver through the hole, that's going to be towards the back of the board where the I/O shield is, always. And the one that's exposed, that's always towards your RAM. So once you get them both started, now we can crank them down and try and tighten them evenly. Give a few turns on each side. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Just don't do one side down completely and then the other side.
Yeah, because what you may end up with, and you won't be able to see it with the naked eye, but you'll end up with a cooler, the surface of the cooler, not bonding with the surface of the CPU. It'll be sort of tilted. So to prevent that from tilting, just go back and forth. Like I say, it doesn't have to be with precision. And these come to an absolute dead stop. It's pretty obvious when you're bottoming out there. It won't let you turn it any further. You cannot over tighten those. It'll break your wrist or you'll break the head of the screw off. Now on these Gigabyte boards, on the memory sockets, you open these up. I like to use the gray ones first. So we'll grab our memory here, which is a 32 gig kit of Corsair Vengeance. I've had this for a little while. And the speed on this is, I think, 3200. Yeah, 3200. And this board is taking DDR4, even though the chip is designed for DDR5. We're in a transition. And so while we're waiting for DDR5 to become more mass-produced and distributed, in the meantime, we're going to sort of handicap the performance of the chip a little bit with DDR4. But that's okay. It's still an improvement over 11th gen. With that, Mitch, we're ready to power it on. We've got our storage, our CPU, We probably have to put a fan on the cooler though, huh?
That might, that was what I was about to say.
All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's see, we want the fan on, I suppose. Yeah, we'll put it on like that. So for that, we'll grab one of these brackets.
I'll take the metal twist tie off.
Thank you. We'll put one here. And those just go on. To just push on. You'll have these pull tabs. We'll do one on the other side exactly the same.
Just testing you.
I was going to grab that with twist tie.
Yeah.
And again, for your benefit at home, I'm going to do this backwards, but normally you would face it so you can see what you're doing. And what I want is I want this cable to go underneath so I have less cable management to deal with, and then to come out and plug in over here. So with that in mind, I'm going to lower this till the bottom of this fan hits the top of the screw. And I want the spinning part of the fan here. You see how the center logo is spinning? That's the part that draws air in. We want to push it through push the air through the heatsink towards the back of the computer.
You want to zip tie that first?
No, I want to put the fan on first. So that way I can determine how much I need to cable manage. But you could hold that, thank you. So I'm going to lower this until it hits the top of that screw. And then the top of the heatsink, it's got these cutouts that the fan fits perfectly within. And so when I put the fan in there, it just snugs right into the heatsink like a glove. And then we pull back on these little metal brackets, and they slide into the slots between the fins.
And you do have some play, right? Where if you wanted to move it up a smidge or down.
Yeah, you can move it up or down. It doesn't have to be, in any specific location. It's mostly aesthetics, and then also the thickness of your case. If you raise the fan up too high, you might not be able to put your panel back on. And then this different colored connector, that's the CPU fan connector. You see it's got this little plastic ridge that comes up, and that's going to make sure that you can only plug this connector in one direction. So we align those grooves, push it down, we're done. What we have left to cable manage is just this little piece. So if I grab a little zip tie, I can get that out of the way now. Very minor little cable management here. I think one ought to do it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And let's see, what I'll do is just wrap it on itself. Like so. Run that through. Don't worry if it gets unwound, just get your cable tie started. And if you have another set of hands, you can say, hey, extra set of hands, come hold this for me. Hold that in position for me. Okay, you can let it go. Then I can make any final adjustments to the cable management. Thank you, Mitch. Just like that, and then we'll...
Right here.
I like to grab some needle nose and tighten that up a little bit
Okay.
so it won't come loose. Then cut the pigtail off. Now,
Smoke test.
smoke test time indeed. What's going to happen? Here's the problem though, Mitch. I got rid of that old 13-year-old test power supply I've been using.
Oh, so we need a new one.
I need a new one. So let's grab a power supply. What do I want to use here? I think we'll just use one of these EVGA. These were like $25, these 500-watt power supply,
Okay.
when they were on sale.
Always a seal. Yeah, not that kind of seal.
Oh,
Cut away from you, Mitch. Cut away.
yeah, I'm running low on Band-Aids, Mitch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not working for me.
No?
Yeah, you do. Steady now. All right.
We'll just put it back where it was.
Well, I did most of it. All right, so here we go.
No. There's a little tab right here.
Oh.
You're trying to rip the whole tab off of it.
We have our documentation. Is this semi-modular? Must be at that price.
No? That's a fixed cable power supply all the way around. No modularity whatsoever with the cables.
Not for 25 beans.
Wait a minute. Where's the screws?
Right here.
Aha. Show the camera.
Here
It's easy to throw out the box
Yeah.
and not realize those screws are there.
You need them, right?
Oh, yes. Go ahead and put them in the drawer in front of you because we don't need them now, but
Okay.
whenever that power supply gets used in a build, I will need to secure it.
We of course have got our cable, power cable.
Oh yeah, power cable. That's important too. We'll put that away. Nothing like sending in a customer a new computer and then you don't get
No
the power
pow-
cable.
no power.
They're all excited and they can't plug their computer in. Thankfully, you can pick them up at Best Buy, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm swimming in them over here. It's terrible when I forget to give them away because I've got so many of them. All right, now we have this giant wire tie. These are good to save for like holding cables out of the
Yeah.
way and stuff. And this will be the new test power supply for a while, I guess. This one's not a very good one. This is like a thin piece of wire.
Then I'll file that one.
Yeah, file it because it's
circular.
junk.
No good. All right.
And you'll see in these discount power supplies, first of all, it's great now that there's no ketchup and mustard cables on these new,
Okay.
even the budget ones. They braid only the main motherboard CPU power cable. So that's going to go. The cabling's no different on a 12th gen. It's the same as computers for the last 25 years. Just plug that in with the clip facing the outside. And then we need CPU power, which is way up in this back corner. It's going to be hard for the camera to see this. And I wish this was a braided cable, but it is a budget power supply, so it is actually pretty nice for the price, but it would be nicer if that was also braided. But at least it's not two separate cables. And we need both of those together with the clips facing the outside. And those are going to go right back here on this connector. We don't have to worry about this other one unless we're going to be overclocking and pulling more voltage than what the engineers at Intel designed it for. So if we leave it at stock, you don't need this. And stock is supposed to be blazingly fast, so we'll find out what these E-cores do. Mitch has got a power cable for us, so we'll plug in the power supply. Make sure the switch on the power supply is in the off position, and now we can plug that in. And then we're going to need an HDMI cable, which Mitch has just handed me here, and we're going to plug that in. I got to step around. We'll plug HDMI in right here. We're going to use onboard video since graphics cards are extremely pricey. We'll plug that in. I need a keyboard and mouse, and I've got that right here. And we'll take the dongle out. This one little dongle communicates with both keyboard and mouse, so we don't have to pair them like Bluetooth or anything like that. I/O shield is built in on the back of this board, which is a nice touch. Although at this price, I would expect that. And I'm looking forward to when that's standard on all boards, even budget boards. It's coming. And
We're ready.
no, we're not ready. I need the power switch, reset switch. I went on Amazon and I bought this really cool
Look at that.
So this is your power and reset switch with a power LED and hard drive LED. And then I threw a Gigabyte Q connector on the end of it. So then all I have to do is slide it with the cables facing towards the right onto the connector. We're good to go. All right, we ready to do this?
Switch to camera, whatever.
Well, first we'll go back to camera 1.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. And then we will go to the HDMI input, which is this system here, and we'll put us right up in the corner here, just like that. And hit the switch on the power supply, flip the switch to on. And
Which one is it?
I don't know, it's one of them. Try the red one.
Try the red one. Here we go.
Try the blue one.
Try the blue one.
There it is.
Ah,
We have
had a 50
fans
had a
spin.
50, had a 50% chance.
You
yeah.
can see the power light is
Oh,
blue
nice.
on that. It comes on. And let's see if we post. Oh, it's got some RGB underneath the board. Let's lighten up back here. I hear the fan slowing down, so it sounds like it's initializing. That's a good sign.
Be,
And
pa-
hopefully in a second,
be patient. It's thinking.
give it a second here to process. We got 639 people watching us around the world, Mitch.
Woo!
Happy Mary. Happy Mary,
Happy Mary.
everybody. This is a long post,
You broke it.
but it still may be normal. Nothing to panic yet. I hear the fan ramping up again.
That's a good sign, right?
Yes, the
I
fact
hope.
that the fan is not just running full speed,
speed.
but that it's moving up and down. See, it just reset itself. So it just trained the memory and CPU and reset itself.
Okay.
Because I saw the fan almost stop and then kick back on again. So I would expect it to post soon. So this is always your nail biting time at this point. But I'm not worried yet. I'm getting there. Patience. There it is. See? It's all about the patience, my man.
Okay.
All right. What's that BIOS version say?
F3, it looks like. How good are my eyeballs? Not good.
It is F3.
Okay.
So and I see we're only running at 2133.
Okay.
I suppose we could turn XMP on just for the heck of it.
Okay.
To run it at 3200. Although you shouldn't do that until you verify everything's solid. But I feel pretty confident, since this is really for DDR5, it should be able to handle this.
Yeah.
And then let's see if there's a newer version than F3. So let's load our optimized defaults, which is going to turn off the XMP. We'll turn XMP back on, and then we'll save and exit.
We'll have to go to the webs.
And we'll make sure that this still posts. Now, if it won't post, then there's probably a compatibility issue between the memory controller on the chip and the RAM that we're using. But again, because it's designed for DDR5, I think any DDR4 should run an XMP just fine. And then while that's booting, let's go take a look at Gigabyte's website. And this is a Z690
Gaming X.
Gaming X. And the first link that comes up for us is from Gigabyte. And we're going to go to the product page, but I want to see this post first before I switch screens.
Boom.
Perfect. Did exactly what it's supposed to do. There's no operating system for it to boot from. And I don't want to install the OS until I make sure I have the latest firmware. So we'll go over to the screen sharing, or the window capturing, and we'll grab the browser window so everybody can see what you and I are looking at here. And we go under support. Not that support. That's Gigabyte generic support. This support down here is for the motherboard, or the product page that you're on. Every motherboard manufacturer does this. It's very confusing. And we're going to look under BIOSes. So there's only 2, and the latest is F6. It doesn't even have F3. And this is what happens when you get brand new technology. You're going to get a lot of updates.
Okay.
I expect this will probably get up to like F17 by June.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and download that. and then we will extract this file. All I want is this one file right here. But if you wanted to do the push the button flash thing, that would be if you had a chip that wasn't being recognized. Intel's got more chips coming out, more 12th gen chips coming out in the first and second quarter of next year. So we're going to extract these files, and then I'm going to copy just the BIOS file. And I'm sure OBS is not capturing this for us, so let me see if I can grab that window. Yeah. So that file right there is the only one we need.
Okay.
And you'll see it's the biggest file. And I'm just going to copy that to a small flash drive. And you know me, I've got my little BIOS flash drive here. And if we go back to main camera, and my BIOS flash drive, it's just an empty 2 gigabyte flash drive. We'll put that in the streamer where I just downloaded the file. And it's the only file I want on there so I don't make any mistakes. And I'm just going to paste it. Small file, only takes a second to copy it. And that's an old slow flash drive, and it's still that fast. With that done, yoink. You want to plug it in back there for me? Anywhere's fine. Perfect, thank you. We'll give that a second for it to recognize and handshake to the BIOS. So hopefully we won't have to reboot. We'll put us way up there so we can watch this process
Nice.
close up. Go back to full screen for you and I so we can see what we're doing. Over here, it says you can press F8 on the keyboard or use your mouse to click a Q flash. We're going to update the BIOS, clicky. There it is right there on the flash drive. There's no other storage device for us to, like I said, the M.2 drive hasn't been partitioned or formatted, so this is the only option.
Okay.
This keeps life simple. Give it a double click. It says, are you sure? I say yes, and it verifies the file.
Okay.
Notice that. Now it says, here's the version you have, here's the version you're going to, and press to start.
And then no touchy.
Now it says system is going to shut down and Q flash will continue after restart. So don't freak out and don't touch anything. We got that. And now we wait. And while we're waiting, does anybody have any questions for us? And maybe we'll look through the chat and see if I've missed any other contributions here while I've been focused on working. Oh, we have missed some. My apologies, guys. Planet Cryos contributes $10. He says it looks like all the M.2s support PCIe Generation 4. And the M2M SB is the only one that supports both NVMe and SATA. Hope that helps. It does help. Thank you, Planet Cryos. Welsh32 contributes £2 and says, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hey.
Yeah, Merry Christmas back to you. Thank you so much. And Chris Mole with a 20-pound contribution says, compliments of the season to Carrie and Mitch and
Thank you, Chris.
to all of you. Right on, Chris. Thanks for all your support throughout the year. Appreciate you, my friend. Proud Patriot contributes $5 and says, Carrie, I just sent you a $50 Amazon e-gift card. Please share it with Mitch, as I do not know his email address. Merry Christmas, Terry. Well, thank you, Terry.
Oh, Terry, I'll make sure he does.
Had to do that when you were here.
Yeah. No,
Of course I
yeah,
share.
Yeah.
Diane contributes $10, says, Merry Christmas to two of my favorite guys who've been my tech inspiration. Who are they?
Yeah.
All delivered with knowledge, laughs, and authenticity. I wish I could donate more to thank you all to thank you for all you do for us. Your words are payment enough. Thank you so much. The contribution is appreciated, but more importantly, your kindness and your support are priceless, and thank you for that. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Greg Guy says he's watching from St. Mary's County, Maryland. U.S. Navy retired.
Ah.
NAVY, never again volunteer yourself. Thank you for your service, of course. Please add the URL for the power switch to the parts list. Oh, yes, yeah, I need to do that. That's, you know, I had to order that twice I ordered a bunch of stuff from Amazon, and I got these boxes.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be in one of the boxes. It wasn't there. And I wasn't going to call and complain. It's like $12 or $13. I just ordered another one. But according to them, they shipped it. It was in the box with something else. And I looked at that box inside and out. I'm like, did I throw it away and not realize it was in there? It just wasn't in there. And I didn't want to, I don't know, it sounds like a scam because they've never done that before.
Oh, it just turned itself off, then started back up again. Yeah.
Hey, there's another contribution from Marty Yoel for $10 and Gary Tatum $10. And Gary says, to you and Mitch, Merry Christmas to you and your families. Thank you, Gary, and to you and yours. Marty, thank you as always. Tony Wallow, say hello to Tony. Matt Power says, hi, Carrie and Mitch, best wishes. Robert Jones says, why only copy the BIOS to the drive, Carrie? Because that's the only file you need. So all the other files will be ignored. They're for flashing the BIOS in another way. You could boot to a boot disk. You could do the flash method. Those are some text files that's for a human. Those files are for humans.
Is it ASUS that, what's the brand where you can do it via the Ethernet? The web, you can.
ASRock. Well, many of them
now let you do that?
do that, but ASRock was the first time I saw that.
Yeah. I kind of like that. You get a little spoiled, where you can
That
just
is
go
nice.
on. Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine Anna Hauserman's joining us. Welcome in, Catherine. BH Ringer, CCTV user. AJ Havercap and Joel Harney. And Luke Greenia, of course. And Stealth Mode, Troll McTrollington. Rick Lakes, Robert Jones. There's Dan, who says it's 52 degrees Fahrenheit in Brookfield, Illinois. Merry Christmas. Well, it's not that much warmer. Was it 55 here?
I have a little sister who lives in Winnetka, Illinois.
Never heard of it. Where's that at? Top, bottom, middle?
It's a suburb of Chicago. She lives within walking distance of the Home Alone house. So
57 degrees. Yeah, there's the $25 gift card. Merry Christmas to you and Mitch. Please share the gift card with Mitch. I don't know his email address. Thank you for all the great information you provide. $50.
yeah.
Oh, I see. He said 25. I guess he meant 25 for each of us. When he said share, I thought he meant for me to take 48 and
Percent.
for you to take 2.
Okay.
And there's the contribution from Luke Greenia for $50. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate you very much. And that's certainly going to start us off in the new year with some purchases and some hardware. And our BIOS update is complete. So I can go ahead and pull the flash drive now. Check that out. And I'll erase the file off of here later.
And it does say F6 in very small print.
So what do you think? Windows 10, Windows 11?
10.
10?
Yeah.
I think so too. I've got a Windows 10 installation media here. Come around here to one of these blue flash drives and plug that bad boy in. Let me take a quick look, full screen for us so we can see. We want to definitely reset the BIOS back to defaults and then turn XMP back on.
Okay.
See how XMP got re-disabled again. So we want to go load optimize defaults first, then XMP enabled. And again, I wouldn't normally enable this until I verified everything installs okay. The only reason I'm doing it now is, once again, and for the third time, this chip is designed to run with DDR5. That starts at like 4,400, 4,800, something like that, megahertz. So it's not actually megahertz. It's there's a different, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a 3-letter abbreviation. Anyway, it doesn't matter. DDR4 can't touch those speeds. So even if we turn on XMP on DDR4, if the chip is designed for DDR5, it should easily handle that. So that's why I'm making an exception to my normal rule here. And then we'll hit save and exit. And now when it restarts, the only thing it can boot from is the flash drive. So it should start the Windows 10 install. This should be a very fast installation of Windows 10. Frankie B says, hello everyone, and Carrie and Mitch. Welcome back, Frankie B. There's Tony Feld in the Chapman, Paul Newman, Paul 1961 Solo, Alhej Tepej, Zvi Manor, Sane Goat. Hello also to Steve Ducarme, Lurchicus, Computer Len, Jacob Smith, Dave King, Matt Power, Noman Jones. All right, here we go. Let's see what this does. I'm gonna go full screen so I can see it. Okay, here we go. Next, install. Kind of hard to tell how fast it is. Don't have a product key. Windows 10 Pro is what I want. That one right there. Next. License agreement. Next. Custom. There's our 2 terabyte Sabrent NVMe drive.
Okay.
Next.
Watch how fast this goes, yeah.
Wait, what? Did that just happen?
Yeah.
All right, that's all right. I know that's not normally a long process. This part here can take a while sometimes. But
Not like the old days where it took like 3 hours.
please insert floppy disk
Yeah,
number
and
17.
17, yeah.
Error, start again. No! We're already halfway done.
Yeah,
Is anybody timing this?
you know. Did it literally take over an hour with all those discs from what I remember? Or several hours or at least an hour to kind of get them all in there.
If you're standing there staring at it, swapping the disc as
just-
soon as it asks,
yeah.
you could probably get it done in about 30 minutes. 20, 30 minutes, I would say. But if you walk away from it and come back, well, it could take forever. Well, there's your first reboot. That was
About a minute. About a minute.
You think it was a
maybe
minute?
maybe 2 minutes?
2 minutes?
Yeah, maybe 2 minutes.
All right.
Compared to the 30 minutes.
Now we do our first reboot. It's dead quiet. Of course, that's thanks to the Scythe cooler. Now it should be booting off the NVMe drive and not the USB drive.
Okay.
You'll know because it shouldn't start all over again with the install. It should continue, which is what it's doing. You'll notice we don't have it plugged into the internet. We never do that during an install of Windows 10. We wait until after the install is complete, so we're not forced to create an online Microsoft account. Not that having an online Microsoft account is a bad thing, I just don't have one, and I don't want to enter mine on a system that's going to my customer. Okay, second reboot. You can hear that fan, then it calms down. See how long this takes. Riveting. All right, it's back to us now to finish these questions. United States, US keyboard, no alternative keyboard layout. Don't have internet. I said I don't have internet. Wrong keyboard. USER. Enter. Enter. Off. 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 On. Off. Off. Accept. Not now. It's getting everything ready for us, Mitch.
Okay. Windows 10 Pro. Woohoo.
This might take several minutes.
Not with this chip.
I don't think it's going to take
No.
several minutes. Joe Harney says, thanks for the tip on the Windows 10 keys. You got it, my friend. Take advantage of that deal.
A bargain.
Solo says, I thought 8 minutes was fast. Colin Hunt with a 10-pound contribution says, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hey, Colin, thank you for that. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Barry Russ contributes $3 and says, blessings to all. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate your support and your kindness. Did I get this one from Gary Tatum? Yeah, I think I did. Gary contribute $10. He says, to you and Mitch, Merry Christmas to you and your families.
And there we are.
We're up and running. Actually, we were up and running a minute ago. We're watching the delay.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back to full screen here for a second. I can just click this to get it out of the way. I don't want this. This will download the ASUS apps. I'll get those manually if I want them. I want to continue without signing in, and of course we're not connected. Now I'm going to go ahead and plug the internet in, and we're going to grab the updates. I'm also going to pull the Windows 10 media. We don't need this anymore. And then we'll grab a network cable. Right here. We're going to plug that bad boy in, right like so. Give that a second to get an IP address, and then we'll go to Windows Update. Just say no to that. Right over here, I'll just type update. Check for updates. That's what I want. And while it's checking, I want to make sure we're in UEFI mode. So I type msinfo 32. Check that our BIOS mode is in UEFI. And we are. And now we're going to grab all these updates. So while we're waiting, again, if you have any questions for us, technical questions, be happy to answer them. Outback Jack says, Merry Christmas Eve, everyone, and wishing you all a Happy New Year. Mortaunt1210 says, hello, Carrie and Mitch and everyone in the chat. Hey, welcome in, Mortaunt.
Looks like it stopped raining. I don't see it on the...
Yeah, it looks like the sun's coming out a bit.
Huh.
All the flooding went away. That was quick.
Yeah. Dry up, please. I want to go for that ride tomorrow when nobody's on the road.
Nicholas Igblini says, what size case will this motherboard need? It's a standard ATX board. Just a regular ATX case.
Mid-tower, full tower.
Whatever, if it says it's ATX, it'll fit. Yeah, it's not any larger. It's not an eATX or a server. It's just a normal size ATX case. Tom K says, I missed his contribution. Unfortunately, you know, when YouTube doesn't keep a record of them anymore like they used to, and if it scrolls off the chat, I don't see it. No. Let me just double check. Sometimes this works. Yeah, it's just not there. I apologize, Tom, I never saw it, and I have no record of it now because YouTube apparently doesn't think it's important for their creators to know who their supporters are. Yeah. It's frustrating. It did work for a while. It has not worked for quite some time. So I apologize for that, but thank you for your contribution and for making me aware of it. Now you'll see the screen blank out because it's installing the video driver from Windows Update. So when it comes back, everything got super small. Probably went into 4K mode now. And we'll adjust that on the reboot. It's actually ready to reboot, but it's still doing something. But let me just take a quick look over full screen on this, because that is super tiny, and I want to let it finish what it's doing here. But I can right-click, display settings, change this resolution. Yeah, I went to 4K. We'll put it to 1920 by 1080. That's much better. Now you see it closed the update window because it opened it in the same window. That frustrates me. It's still working in the background. So I wanted to go ahead and finished installing that. It's almost done with the cumulative update, and then it's going to start installing that. I'm going to let those finish before I restart.
That was actually fast.
It was quick. And then, you know what? Let's take a look at the optional updates here. We'll grab these. Yeah, there's only one. That should be quick. Yeah, did you blink?
Yeah.
That was quick. So we're just waiting on this one. And this one, I don't know what it waits for, but it will sit idle for some time. And if you just wait it out, it will eventually start. Or we can restart now and then force it again on the reboot. I'm just kind of curious. One of the benefits of having this little power switch is I can see the hard drive light is doing something. It's reading and writing something on the hard drive, as you can,
Yeah, that's nice.
as you can see. So I know it's not frozen. I know it's whatever it's doing, it's waiting for that to finish before it switches from that screen that says downloading into installing. Sometimes I've found by just moving the mouse around or waking it up, for lack of a better explanation, start the browser, for example, then I come back and it goes installing. Isn't that weird? So I don't know, like I'm triggering something that it's waiting for, or it's just really amazing timing that I have. That actually installed very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It didn't hesitate at 74% like it usually does, right?
Which tells you what? This is a fast board,
I
fast
don't
chip?
know.
Fast
Well,
board.
wait a minute. Maybe it'll do it now. Maybe it faked
Yeah.
this out on the first install. I think the first one was extracting. Now it's actually installing because, there shouldn't be that big of a difference. I mean, that's crazy. And while we're waiting, again, let me just take a look in the chat room. Mark MC says, question. Hi, Carrie and Mitch. What do you do if the drive is not in UEFI mode? You can Google how to convert to UEFI, or you can do a manual like F12 on a Gigabyte board to make sure that you're booting from the UEFI partition. If there is no UEFI partition, then you've made your media incorrectly and you should remake your media again. But you can convert legacy mode into UEFI with a command prompt, and there's plenty of that information available on Google and here on YouTube that demonstrate it. When I do a new customer build, I never want to do a repair. If the install doesn't go in UEFI, I start over again. I don't repair it. I just don't think that's the right way to sell a computer to a customer. If it's a used computer, I wouldn't even do it. If it's a customer that comes in for repair, and I don't want to wipe out their system because they got all their programs, but it's in legacy mode, I will then run the command to convert it without any loss. So it depends on the circumstance, but I don't just universally apply the same technique to every computer. It depends on the scenario. Policies and procedures. Thank you for the question. I have a little rubber cap. It's
right
this
here.
thing's pointy. Oh, good eyes. Thank you, Mitch. Put that right back on there. I just hate to leave that exposed, stick my hand in there, and this thing is really sharp. Save that. And I'll add this to my collection.
Okay.
Scythe screwdrivers. Put that away with the rest of them. That's still installing. Yeah, there's where it gets stuck at 74%. Yep. So we'll wait for that to finish, and then we'll hit the restart button. Old School Funk and Soul says, Merry Christmas, Carrie. I wish I was back in warmer Glendale, Arizona, rather here in freezing, rainy, Peaky Blinders, Birmingham, UK. Is that a Generation 4 PCIe 4 NVMe drive? No, it is not. It's a Gen 3. I really don't see much difference. You could double the speed, and it's milliseconds, unless you're doing some intense and consistent huge file transfers. And even then, what are you transferring data to? There's not going to be anything as fast as that you're transferring to. So it's just, I guess if you're loading some big applications, you want your load times to be reduced, it'll reduce them by milliseconds. So it's not worth doubling the price for milliseconds. It's too much of a point of diminishing returns for me. Good old pragmatic and practical Carrie isn't going to do that. It's interesting to look at the benchmarks and see those numbers, but in reality, it's very difficult to tell a difference unless you have a very extreme use case scenario of how you use your computer. Bob Connor says, again, I want to thank you for the build you did for me. It is running very well and fast. Only mod I did was I added a second NVMe drive.
Oh, nice.
Right on. Computer Len wants to know, is the 12th generation Intel Gigabyte motherboard any good? Well, we're kind of determining that now, but so far, I have no complaints.
It's fast.
It seems to have a lot of bells, whistles, and features, and nothing I don't want. So I'm going to go with a yes on that. It was also one of the cheapest ones I could find. Currently, that's a Z-Series board. Bobby Atazanov says, Carrie and Mitch, Merry Christmas from Bulgaria. Well, they're telling me it's time to restart. Let's take a look. Got to make the screen bigger so we can see it. Oh, yeah.
Hit it.
Here we go. Gary wants to know if we have any timeline on the members only channel. There may be an alternative to that called Throne Live. ThroneLive.com offers an alternative live platform away from YouTube, where YouTube gets a very large percentage of any membership fee. ThroneLive.com. I might give them a shot and move the members only content. It won't be members only. Instead, it'll be like an announcement if you want to go to Throne Live and watch some live videos over there. A smaller audience, a more intimate atmosphere where I can see more of there. When we have how many people are in the chat? 650 plus people are in the chat. If we reduce that down to 30, 40, 50 people, I'd be able to interact with each of you. When there's 653, some of you may feel like you're being ignored because I simply don't see your text. It scrolls by and I'm busy. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to maintain an internet, make sure my audio is good. And I'm trying to juggle a lot and balance a lot. So I don't intentionally ignore anybody, but the bigger the crowd gets, the more likely you're going to feel invisible. So by moving over some videos over to thronelive.com, that may be a way for me to both increase my revenue, find out who my true fans and followers are, and give them the time and attention they so deserve, and move away from the trolls and stuff like that, which, it's been good today.
Yep.
So maybe the trolls are in a Thanksgiving. Maybe they're in a Christmas Eve mood. I don't know.
Do we have any more updates? We shall
Probably.
see. Yeah.
We'll run settings. We'll go this way. We'll do it a little different. I always turn that off. It always wants you to sign in. So we'll grab those updates and again back over to the chat room while we're waiting. Joe Harney says, so far no trolls here. Well, that is a lovely Christmas indeed, isn't it? Spider Logan says, greetings from Austin. Right on, welcome in.
Great city.
Solo says, best computer builder duo, Carrie and Mitch. Na 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 na.
Duo.
We have the Bat Cave.
Restart already?
Is it ready already?
I don't know. I see the little red circle.
Well, that didn't take. I was expecting it to take a little longer. Okay, we'll do it. Be interested on how this does on Prime 95.
Yeah.
I wonder if the microphone's picking that up. You hear the fan ramp up and then calm down again.
And I think that'll be it on the updates.
No, we still got to go to the Intel driver assistant.
Oh, yeah.
And then we can start running Prime 95 and such. No, I hate this stupid thing. Clear these notifications. We're covering that up, but that's all right. Just get rid of that. And then one more time, back over to Windows Update. Let's see what it's going to do for us this time. This is Windows 10 21H2. Now, the 12th generation Intel chips are really going to run better with Windows 11, but they're also going to run better with DDR5. So because we're so early in adopting this chip, we're just not quite ready for that yet. So I feel like it's best to just stick with what we know for now, so we avoid some of the headaches and comes along with, pioneering new technology. So we're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's a nice, for me anyway, that is a preferred safe method. I would have no hesitation selling this to a customer with this configuration, but with DDR5 and Windows 11, I would be worried about support costs. So number of restarts are required here for some reason, but we'll just go through them. It's rebooting awfully quick. Did that in pretty good time. It's only 2:30.
Yeah.
We started an hour and a half ago. We actually got work done on a day that's a holiday.
Yeah.
So for us, I guess holidays we work and every other day's a holiday.
That should be them all, huh?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Let's find out. Oh, it was all of them. Now let's go over here to, first of all, I like to make a few changes here. I go to settings. I go to settings up here, and then go to privacy search, go all the way to the bottom, and hit address bar search, and then change this to Google. Then go back to search, back to settings, then to start home, and I want to open these pages, and the pages I'm going to add a new page, and it's going to be google.com. And hit add. Now we're going to test this and see that it works. Open Edge again. Brings it up in Google. But it doesn't like that we changed it. So like the next time we open it, it's going to say, do you want to set your search engine back to Bing? And I always tell it, don't apply any changes. Leave it alone. I'm not sure when it does it, but it just doesn't. So, that's not supposed to open and see what it did there? Shouldn't have done that. All right.
Intel something.
Intel driver update. That's close enough. There it is. Driver and support assistant. Download now. Open it. We agree to the license agreement, but decline participating in their monitoring of what goes wrong so they can fix things. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I deal with a lot of customers who are just very, very privacy conscious. No supported driver or software updates are available for your system. Here's all our specs. There's our chip, our graphics, audio, networking, memory, and storage. It looks like it's all happy. So that means it's Prime 95 time. I suppose I should run Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer first. So let's do that. We'll grab Uncle Carrie's Windows 10 optimizer. We'll run that. And then I want PC testing software. And then I want HW monitor. And I want Prime 95 26.6. We could use Crystal Diskmark just out of curiosity, just to see, it is Gen 3, so kind of curious. Let's restart for the optimizer settings to take effect.
Let's see how fast this boots up. Boom.
It's not messing about, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, first let's try Crystal Dismark, just out of curiosity. We're not going to see anything mind-blowing here, but remember, it is a Gen 3 drive, and it's a budget drive at that. So I'm just interested in the two top sequential numbers. I want to see the maximum you could possibly get. That's what I'm always interested in. Well, that's not too shabby at all for a budget drive. That's Samsung 970 Evo Plus territory right there. That's that's much better than I was expecting. Yeah, especially for the price.
Yep.
Much better than I was expecting. Holy cow. Let's see what the write speeds look like. If the write speeds are similar, then I'm really going to be impressed. If they're over 3,000,
Drum roll.
I don't think they're going to be over 3,000. It's a budget drive. There's no what? Just. But hey, it counts.
Yeah.
It counts. So a more expensive drive, those numbers would be more similar. You know, they'd be closer to 3,600, which pretty much peaks out Gen 3 anyway. This is, of course, now Gen 5 on the board. That's very, I wasn't expecting that much for the budget drive. And it's made in the USA. Nothing's made in the USA anymore. Let's do HW monitor. We'll bring that up. Whoops, I don't want the 32-bit. I want the 64-bit version. Hopefully it'll read the temperature chip on this new chipset. Give it a minute. Okay. Wow, D cores and E cores, it's separated out. That's cool.
Okay.
It shows 16 total CPU cores on an i5, is that right?
How many threads?
Well, it's showing 10 cores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's got to be 6 performance cores and 4 E cores. That's pretty cool. Maximum speeds, it's hitting 4,900. Okay, we're off to the races. What's our temps right now? We're looking at the low 20s. That's okay. 30s is normally where we would sit, but that's sitting at 20.
Okay.
When have you ever seen that before? Is that real?
That's a little chilly, you know.
Okay, well, let's run Prime 95 and see what she does. Let's bring up Prime 95 here. And yeah, it shows there's 6 maximum number of processor cores. Processor threads is 16.
Okay.
So I'm guessing, I'm not sure how that works. The 4 E cores and 6 performance cores. So the 6 performance cores are hyper-threaded, that'd be 12, and the 4 E cores are not hyper-threaded, that would be 16. 4 plus 6 times 6 times 2 plus 4.
You want to hit your timer?
Yeah, I wanted to bring the temperatures up, and I wanted to see the core speeds. You'll see the E cores down here, they run slower.
Okay.
There's 4 of them. We're at 100% on all the performance and the E cores. And nice cold temperatures. I'll start my timer now. We're off to the races. So by the time we hit 20 minutes, it's going to be closer to 21 minutes. So keep that in mind, okay? Because I always start the test first. And then we can make that a little smaller. Move it over here. And we can see that. Okay. 55, it's really chilly. Okay, we'll wait for 20 minutes, and in the meantime, address the chat room. What's happening, chat room? You want to keep that under 85 after 20 minutes. If we're at 85 or below, we're good to go. Only E cores have hyperthreading. I think it's the other way around. Performance cores have hyperthreading. E are like the energy efficient cores, so they're weaker. I think. Pretty sure E cores don't have hyperthreading. Wouldn't be much of a performance core if it didn't have hyperthreading. It would significantly affect its performance. Steve Rowe says, greetings from Alaska. What's the difference between P cores and E cores? So E cores are like these energy efficient cores. They don't generate a lot of heat. They can take care of a lot of processing. There is some latency in them. They're low power cores is effectively what they are. They're more energy efficient. And then your performance cores, it's like what's the difference between an environmental car and a performance car? They're generally not the same, except for Tesla. But generally speaking, your hybrids are rather slow cars, but they get really good gas mileage. And in your performance cars, usually they go really fast, they get hot, they need cooling, and they eat up a lot of fuel. So we got a mixture of both here on these new 12th gen Intel chips, which might be ideal to turn E cores off when you're gaming. Depending on the game, it could actually be slower than a previous generation chip. It depends on the game. Can we see the cores in the task manager? Sure, we can pull up the cores in the task manager at the same time. Let's go full screen here and hit Control-Alt-Delete. We'll go to the task manager, and then we'll go to more details. Usage, disk usage. Oh, I still have the flash drive plugged in. Here's all our cores. Not quite sure how we're going to fit those on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, that's not helping. There they are. Just fits on the screen.
Yep.
And of course our temps. Maximum so far is 60 degrees Celsius, and that's after about 4.5 minutes. A CPU core that is designed for maximum performance, also called a P core or performance core, contrasts with efficiency core or E core, which delivers less raw performance but is less power hungry to conserve battery. The performance difference is obtained by varying voltages and clock speeds. And that's the definitions of Performance Core PC Magazine. PS1 Freak 26 says, wow, those temps on that Mugen 5, and I don't need a new power supply. I can use a 550 watt. Yeah, it's really your graphics card that's going to be your big power suck. So by using onboard graphics, even though these chips, modern CPUs are more power hungry than ever before, standard 450 watt or above is pretty much all you're going to need. Unless you're adding a lot of drives or other devices, like I said, like specifically a graphics card. You want 750 watts or more if you're adding a 30 series graphics card. Nearly 7 minutes on the test, and we're looking at still a max 60 degrees Celsius that hasn't budged. We're looking good on temps. Let's hope it stays that way. Keep me happy. Raul says, Mr. Carey, season's greetings and Merry Christmas to all the group. Hey, thank you, and back to you, Raul. Merry Christmas to you and yours. It says 115% CPU usage. Does it show 115%? Is that turbo? I don't know. Microsoft's defining that. Let me see. Let's go full screen and see if we can see what they're referring to. 100%, 100%. I don't see 115. Do you?
Huh.
I don't know where they got that from. 100. Oh, 100. Don't know. Oh, gotta use the right mouse, Carrie. You see the E cores down here?
Yep.
And then our performance cores. See the speed difference?
Yep.
This is the slowest they run when you're like just at your desktop idling. That reduces this. It's like an engine idling. You don't want your engine revving at 4,000 RPM when you're sitting in a red light. So what that's doing is just idling at 500. Keeps the temps down, keeps the energy usage down. Keeps the heat down, fans down, noises down. And then when you need it to do something, just like a car, you start to speed up, engine gets louder. Heat goes up. You do that too much on an engine, you can overheat your engine. Depending on if you did something to the car to, tweak it to get more power out of it, you probably also have to tweak the cooling system. Computer's no different. In fact, the line is getting blurred between a computer and a car now, especially a Tesla. It's mostly just a computer with wheels and a couple motors, electric motors. Nine and a half minutes, about halfway through the test.
You ready for the joke of the day?
I'm ready for the joke of the day.
Okay, and now, my friends.
Oh, no.
It's time for corny joke of the day. Let me think here. Okay. When does a baker share his secret recipes?
I don't know. When does a baker share his secret recipes?
It's on a need-to-dough basis.
Need to dough? Da-dum. All right.
I didn't say they were great. I said they were corny.
Why will Santa go down your chimney on Christmas Eve? Because it suits him.
Okay.
What do you call a kid who doesn't believe in Santa Claus?
A
rebel without a clause.
James Dean. All right.
Do you know, how do you wash your hands over the holiday? You use Santitizer.
All right, that's one for you. Okay, yeah.
Do you know what kind of motorcycle Santa rides? It's a Harley Davidson.
Okay, 2. Yeah, I like that.
You know what you get if you eat Christmas decorations? Tinselitis.
Okay.
It's true. What do you get when you cross a Christmas tree with an iPad?
I don't know.
A pineapple.
Okay. Let's bring out the hook.
Christmas tree is pine.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah.
iPad's made by Apple.
Apple.
It's a
Pineapple. A little slow on the upswing there. Okay.
I asked my wife what she wanted for Christmas, and she told me nothing would make her happier than a diamond necklace. So I got her nothing. My friend just won the tallest Christmas tree competition, and I thought to myself, how can you top that?
Okay. Yeah.
Gingerbread man went to the doctor complaining of a sore knee, and the doctor asked him, have you tried icing it?
That's a good one.
You know what you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire? Frostbite.
Ah, okay.
You know what you call a snowman with a six-pack? An abdominal snowman.
Okay.
Well, these are
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty
Bad. Pretty bad.
What do you call a search engine that sings Christmas songs? Michael Google. All right. See how many viewers we have left.
2. Uh-huh.
Where are we at? 13 and a half minutes on the test. And what are we seeing on our max temps here? 61, it looks like, is our max. Humming along. Humming right along.
Very cool.
Literally
Yep.
and figuratively. Paul Newman said, leave the jokes to Mitch. I agree. BH Ringer says, I can't believe this. Robbers broke into my house and all they took was my limbo stick. I mean, how low can you go? It's contagious,
Yeah.
everybody. There's Robert McCord Bagumi in the chat room. Welcome in. Mossad Yousefi says, I am Mossad Yousefi from Afghanistan. Welcome in. Merry Christmas. Nearly 15 minutes. We're 3/4 of the way through the test. It's a breeze.
Yep.
It's staying quiet. It's only going to get quieter once it's in a case.
Yep.
I haven't determined, what case it's worthy of going in yet. So I don't know what I'm going to put this in. Maybe the 4000D that Bob Connors sent me. It seems like it would be a good case for this. I wonder if I can find that power switch.
Right there, isn't it?
Yep. The Owltree desktop computer power button switch.
Mm-hmm. Have to put a link.
Yeah. Let me generate that.
It's pretty sweet.
So the switch I'm using, and I'll have to add this to the video notes, but for right now, I'll give you guys in the chat room a shortcut to it. It's about $14. and free shipping. So if you're doing a lot of work on PCs, like I do, it's great to have something like that when you're not shorting out the pins with a screwdriver or stuff like that. It's not so hacky, you know, more professional. Ooh, it's got to 70. Still 15 degrees below my personal ceiling. And we're 17 minutes in with 3 minutes to go. And remember, we started the timer almost a minute after. So
Jump to 71.
That's good. It can go all the way up to 80. It can go all the way up to 85 for all I care, just as long as it doesn't go above that. Anything below 85 is bonus.
Because the one we did for your new desktop in Studio A, that never peaked above 73, correct?
That's an 11900K.
Right, that hung right at 73.
That's right. It's, it never got hotter than 73.
So.
Now, I didn't let it run overnight, but I mean, there's no way it's going to run that hard for that long anyway.
Yeah. And it was screamingly fast.
At least not the way I use it. Maybe the way somebody else uses it. But.
Right.
Jamie McGregor says, still not spotted 115 degree CPU use, or sorry, still not spotted 115% CPU usage. No, do you see it?
Mm-mm.
I don't see anywhere where it says 115. I'm looking right here. It's 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. I look over here. It's 100 all the way down. Where else do we look? Where else would you see it? It doesn't matter anyway. Oh, it's up here. I wonder, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see it. Not quite sure how Microsoft's doing the math on that one. Be interesting if Windows 11 reads it differently. Interesting. Okay. I like getting 115% out of my CPU.
Yeah.
71, and we got a minute to go. Geez, it's Christmas Eve. What should we do for dinner? Pizza Hut?
Ryan says, Mitch, does Toto have any Christmas songs? Not that I'm aware of, because I own every single song that they have, and no, they don't.
Is it a valid temperature test if you run it on an open test bench? The difference being in an enclosed case, if the case is well ventilated, it should run cooler inside of a case.
Because you'll have the rear fan going.
Yeah, and it's enclosed. You don't have all this open air. You can force the air to move through the system, whereas here the air can move all around. So in theory, this should be a worst case scenario with no case. However, there are some pretty badly designed cases out there where the temperature could rise, but it would never rise more than 3 degrees maximum. I've never seen a case where it would go higher than 3 degrees. So we get into this tech minutia of worrying about things that just don't happen. It's like it's human imagination, fearing things that don't exist. It's so insignificant, and we have such a large ceiling because we can go up to 100 degrees Celsius, but we don't want to exceed 85, generally speaking, on a support level where I'm selling computers to customers. I'm not comfortable with the machines having the fans run all the time like that and run that hot. So at 85, we still have a 15-degree headroom, and we're nowhere near 85. We're hitting 71. So if in a bad computer case it goes another 3 degrees, we're still in the 70s, low 70s.
And we're at about 21 minutes.
Yeah, so that's going to put us closer to 22 minutes. I suggest people actually worry about problems they have rather than worrying about avoiding problems they don't have. I think it's an unhealthy mental state of being concerned over things that only exist in your imagination and then trying to avoid those things from ever existing when they likely would have never existed to begin with, negating any effort and anxiety that you put forth into something that was purely non-existent other than in your head. So it's important to define imagination from reality. Imagination's important. And it's especially important when you're trying to solve a problem. But if you don't have a problem, then all you're doing with your imagination is trying to find one. And when you're in business trying to help customers and earn a living, there's no time for that if you want to stay in business. It's not good for you mentally, but furthermore, it's not good for business. So when you have actual problems, when you come here and let us know what those problems are and you're having trouble resolving them, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction. But if you just want to come up with your imagination and say, what if? My answer to you is to think about this. What if there were no hypothetical situations? All right, I guess we can stop the test.
Yeah.
And taking a look at what our final numbers. So it never broke 71. So of course, the test is still running. We're 22 and a half minutes in, which puts us closer to about 23 minutes. So let's go ahead and stop prime 95, and we'll watch those temperatures drop very rapidly here. Let's grab this and move it over here. And let's grab this. Test. Stop. Here we go. Watch those temps drop. Watch that CPU usage drop. And that fan just went silent. It's still spinning, but it wasn't loud. And that was running pretty well full bore, it sounds like. It was very, very good. So, this is an i5. $300.
Yeah.
To get to 12900, you're going to spend more than twice that, and you're not going to get twice this performance. When the price is right, and when DDR5 is available, I think the 12900 will be something I buy, the 12900K. I don't expect that to happen anytime soon, but I'm impressed with it. I can't say there's a huge difference between this and the 11900 so far as the building process and the performance with cooling, but putting it under practical applications, this may be better in video editing. I don't know yet. But, comparing an 11900 flagship to it's an i9, to an i5 of the next gen, it's probably pretty equal, I'm going to guess. Although that 11900 is nearly $500. So it's dropped to $430. So it's $130 more than the chip we're using here. So it still may be a better chip. It just depends on it. Boy, that's a tough call. Yeah. But the 11900 can go on an $89 board. This board is 3 times that price. Yeah. But this is also overclockable. And the 11900 on the $89 board, that board doesn't allow for overclocking. But it's so fast and runs so cool, why would you ruin it?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You got to decide for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you what to do, but I don't see a massive difference between this and the 11900, but this does significantly cost more. Now, again, with DDR5 and a 12900K, it's going to cost twice as much money as that 11900 with a board and DDR5 compared to DDR4. Will we get twice as much performance? No, we won't. We'll get significantly better performance, I'm told, but it's not going to be twice the performance. So your bang for buck, your gigahertz for the dollar value is not there on the 12900K, and it probably won't be there for a year. This time next year, it'll probably be a good value. But anybody who adopts it early is going to pay way more and get less than someone buying 11th gen. So it just depends if you're one of those people with a lot of money who always has to have the latest and greatest. Don't let me get in your way. For the rest of us that are practical, pragmatic, and aren't flush with cash with nothing to do with it, I think a 10th, 11th gen chips are still decent. More than decent. The 11900K is the one that's impressed me the most so far. From the 9900K to the 10900K, the 11900K, and now the 12600K. If you want your best budget chip for the bang for the buck, the 11600 is the way to go. Get that 11600 if you want the best value for your dollar. Today, December 24th, 2021. What do you think? We're going to wrap it up? I think that's a good close. A little early today, but it is Christmas Eve. Give Mitch half the day off. We'll shut this down. and it's off.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive. Doesn't waste any time shutting down, and we'll get us full screen again. Back up on this. Why didn't it do it? There we go.
There we go.
Gotta hit the right buttons, Carrie. All right, so on this Christmas Eve, any final comments, questions, we'll address them, and then we're going to wrap it up and go get a Yuletide dinner.
I will tell you that yesterday, chat, I did go to the mall and I did sit on Santa's lap. And I said, Santa, what I want for Christmas, I don't think you can gift wrap. And he said, yeah, that's what Santa wants too. So it was, 3 letters.
A car?
Dog, cat, gum, ice. I'm running out of 3-letter words.
It's 3 letters?
Yeah.
And you can't gift wrap it.
Mm-hmm. He's a little slow.
It's not a CPU or RAM.
No.
Those are 3 letters, but they're easily gift
Yeah.
wrapped.
Age.
Age?
Age? No. What does solo say?
Oh,
Yeah, a little slow there.
you should gift wrap that. Some things you can't return.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
Air?
Air? Yeah, okay, yeah.
AJ Evercap
Yeah.
suggests air. That's a good
Okay,
answer.
that's another one, yeah.
Joe Harney says, I'm understanding you're not recommending Acronis anymore. What do you use now? I'm still using Acronis, the last version, because it's still good. I'm not using the latest version, and I don't have any reason to use something else. But I suspect I'll be looking back into Macrium Reflect when the time comes. But that's probably another year away.
What's the plan for tonight, fellas? Well, to grab a bite.
You can stick around and watch. We're going to watch The Matrix Resurrection. You're welcome to join us.
Yeah,
And I allow popcorn
Oh,
in my screening room.
in your screening room? Yeah, I wanted to see if that's playing on IMAX. So on a big screen.
Well, I would certainly respect that.
With the,
However-
with the sound system,
My floors are less sticky and
Yeah.
and there's less COVID.
Yeah, and IMAX, what is it with tax and everything? I think a ticket's like
13?
17 beans.
Is it that much now?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been.
Yeah. So,
Chris Johnson says, I'm grateful for the knowledge you pass along to us, Carrie. Thank you. I send the light of the holiday season to the chat and to your family. Fiber optics. Thank you. Ryan says, Carrie, good point. Don't use the latest version. It can't be a good version if it starts out late. I don't know what that means, but okay. Glad you agree. Dennis Paulson said, Mitch gets the ugly sweater award this year.
thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Be quiet.
Let me present the ugly sweater award to
Okay.
you. Let's see. Where's the ugly sweater award at? Had it around here somewhere. Where did Nutty go?
He's over there in his hibernation. So.
Okay. Nutty is presenting you with the ugly sweater award. There you go.
and a chainsaw.
I figure if you hold this,
Oh.
you'll look just like a murderer in a horror movie.
Oh, bad Santa? No. Okay.
That would be landscaping Santa.
This is electric though. This isn't gas. This is electric, right?
Yeah, but it's a gas.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that was bad. That was bad. Nutty, want to say anything to the folks for the holiday?
No,
All right then.
I'm sleeping.
Got that out of the way. Get back in your tree.
With your nuts. Coconuts.
Roger Bell says, Carrie, please check your email. Amazon gift card. Well, I guess I could take a look at that right now. I could probably stop my timer that's
Yep.
at 30 minutes. Let's see what we have. We put on the glasses. You know they have eye drops now.
Yeah, I know. You've been looking for
Can't
it.
find them in
Can't-
stock yet.
yet,
You
so-
put these eye drops in, you don't need reading glasses anymore.
And you said
Once a day.
Once a day, it's good for about 8 hours, is what you read?
For like 6 to 10 hours.
Oh, okay.
And it's about $85 a month, and you won't need glasses anymore. Oh, let's see what we have. Frankie B says, hope you enjoy this Amazon gift card. Thank you, Frankie B. I haven't clicked on it, but I appreciate you. And there, yeah, Roger Bell sent an Amazon gift card, but it looks like he sent a $50 Amazon gift card to Carrie at TechVets. I'm lucky I got it. It needs to go to Carrie at carrieholzman.com. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. He says hello to Mitch and Wells for him also. Keep on computing. Hope you enjoy the Amazon gift card. Right on. Well, thank you very much. And customer on Christmas Eve is emailing me. Haven't heard from him for about 9 months.
Okay.
Says, Carrie, my old computer you built for me is getting closer to the edge of the cliff. This is the guy who said this is the last computer I'm going to buy because I'm old.
Right.
This is now the third one.
Let's see.
And now he says it's getting closer to the edge of the cliff. And
Okay.
nobody wants to touch Windows 7 on my old computer. Is there any dependable way that you know that you can transfer my stuff to a new laptop like Zillow? Zillow. If you know how to do it with as little of my involvement. I can't breathe and think at the same time, he says.
Okay.
Please let me know. I don't know what he's talking about, Zillow. He had a lot of investment in Family Tree Maker and, going back. And then they changed Family Tree Maker and he would have to re-enter all the information or something like that. And I don't know anything about it. And he doesn't have any of his software anymore, and he doesn't know how he installed it. And, he's probably 80 years old. He's a great guy. He's a super guy. But he's a digital immigrant, and it's not natural to him, and he needs a lot of hand-holding and a lot of time. So we will email him later. John O'Toole sent an Amazon gift card of $25. Thank you, Johnny. Merry Christmas.
He's the guy with the beard, right?
It looks like Santa.
That looks like Santa. Yeah.
And Mortant had sent a $50 Amazon gift card. Peter Laycock with a very generous Amazon gift card. Fred Sunderman with an Amazon gift card. Daryl Loftus with an Amazon gift card. PayPal, Paul Shadell contributed $14. Thank you, Paul. And I just want to make sure of everything that came in yesterday. Anthony Remus over at Remus Computer Solutions says Merry Christmas.
Yep.
He's hoping for a better supply chain next year.
Yeah.
It's killing him.
Yeah.
And let's see, did I miss anybody? $50 from Jason Nida. Thanks, you guys. Very, very generous this year. Feeling the love. There's Bob Connors with a $25 Amazon gift card while I'm looking. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much for your kindness, your support, your generosity.
Have a safe and Merry Christmas.
Is that a demand? Do you have
yes.
to?
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. It's bossing you around. And
No. Hope you get no lump of coal in your stocking.
I wish I had some coal.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Start a fire.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
But it quit raining, so that's a plus.
Oh, that's Paul1961. He says, that was me. Okay, well, now I know which Paul you are. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for letting me know. And Mortant says, you're welcome. Right on. It's nice when people are around to hear the acknowledgement. Sometimes I'm not sure if people hear me, and I want to make sure that I give credit to those who are giving me credit. Let's see. Solo says $85 a month is pretty pricey. I will gladly pay that to not wear those glasses. Gladly.
Yeah.
If they work. They don't work for everybody. But they're brand new. In fact, someone was talking about buying stock in that company because it's probably going to be a very
if it takes off and works, truly works.
So that works best for people 40 to 55 and up to about 65.
That rules you out, old man. Okay. All right.
This presbyopia.
Yeah, something like that.
Barry Klein says the ugly sweater is because what looks like RGB fans are on it. Yeah, they got a little glow around them, don't they? Mm-hmm. You got to get you an RGB sweater. That's how we should have done.
Yeah.
Joe says he's going to try Macrium Reflect. Yeah, I think they have a free version. He said the Aomi failed on him. Aomi's backup. There's a number of them that aren't quite as popular as Acronis and Macrium. I think they're the two big dogs. But with Acronis moving into the antivirus space and subscription only, just can't get on board with it. If it was an option, I'd be okay, but it's being forced down our throats, so I pass. Just looking at some final comments in the chat. Make sure Roger is blue in here. Thank you again, Roger. Ninjake says, that is a beautiful sweater. See, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
I will tell you, with these movie lights, it's very warm. I'm a little sweaty. All right, yeah. Very hot in here with the movie lights going, yeah.
Oh, you think he's having a seizure?
Oh, yeah. He's had too much Coke. Yeah.
I think it's the patterns on the shirt have evoked a seizure.
Go back in your nest, Nutty. There you go.
Old Man 55 said, I see that motherboard has a 20 gigabit speed USB-C port.
Okay.
Well, that's great if you have something to plug in that runs that fast. So many things that are USB 3 or 3.2 advertised are still running at USB 2 speeds, but they are technically, USB 3.2. So that's got to be like a Thunderbolt level of data transfer to get this 20 gigs. I just don't know what device you're going to plug in. It's not going to be cheap. I know that. Whatever it is going to be expensive. I have a device here, speaking of which, and I think I brought this out and tested it. But this is a Thunderbolt 3 terabyte NVMe solid state drive. The problem with this is, how many computers can you plug this into? I'm a computer technician, and I need to transfer data back and forth to customer client machines. And customers and clients have machines 10, 15 years old sometimes. So where am I going to use this other than personally? And on how many computers can I use it on? This is supposedly, feel the weight on that. Wow. You know what? Well, let's do one last thing here. Let's fire this back up. Let's plug this in, because if anything's going to move at 20 gigabits per second, that's the only thing I have. And I'm a computer tech. I don't have anything that runs this fast. Yeah, hit it. Other side, blue one. There you go. Let's try it on Crystal Diskmark. We still have the software on the machine.
Okay.
And let's bring this back over to HDMI input. And we'll wait a second for that to boot up. And I'm going to just minimize us or put us in a corner again. And we'll give this a shot, because I have my Dell XPS laptop is the only thing that has Thunderbolt on it.
Okay.
And I think that's what you need. Now, I don't know that that's Thunderbolt, but at 20 gigabits per second, if that's true, let's see what happens when let's take this out. We don't need that anymore. And we'll plug this one in. USB Type-C, there's no right or wrong way to plug it in.
Okay.
And let's see if it even recognizes it. If this doesn't have Thunderbolt, it still may not recognize
It
it.
must have.
Well, no. I think that was an error. I can't see it. Yeah, see, it won't see it. So what good is it if you have no devices, or you only have one device or one computer? Let me unplug it and maybe I can see the error this time. I'm sure everybody at home can see it, but we can't see it when the screen's real small. Thunderbolt device functionality might be limited. Make sure the Thunderbolt device is connected to, it's supported by the PC. So this is apparently not Thunderbolt. So it's some form of USB, and therefore the only thing I can use that on is my laptop. That's it. I can never move it to any other PC, because Thunderbolt never really got fully adopted like USB, even though it's the same connector. They share the same connector. So I don't know what good that is. Maybe in the future I'll be able to use it, but for now, the reality is it's not very ubiquitous, and it'll be sort of a, limited use of what you can do with it. All right, so let's see what happens when somebody mentions something we were just wrapping up, and I was curious and I wanted to know. So I'll have to continue my testing strictly on the laptop. And I can't see the screen and what I'm clicking on, so hold on a second and I'll shut this down. but supposedly that's really super fast. Got a 10 gig network interface card. Once again, any 10 gig networking is very expensive, and I don't know what you're going to be moving 10 gigs through. My NAS isn't going to handle 10 gigs. So I just don't know what the point of this stuff is at this stage of where we are with networking equipment. It would be extraordinarily costly to invoke that, and furthermore, you're certainly not going to be able to make your internet any faster. It's pretty much one gigabit is pretty much as fast as they go. So to have 10 gigabit, it's 10 times faster. I don't know what that's used for. It's got to be very, very specific, and only with limited pieces of hardware on the network that would be able to do that, and at great expense. AJ Haverkamp says, USB-C isn't Thunderbolt. That's what I just... So Thunderbolt shares the USB-C connection. And that's why the USB-C standard is a little confusing, because when you're buying something that has that Type-C connector, Type-C and USB-C are not the same thing. But they are. It's messy. But Thunderbolt used to have its own proprietary connector, and I wish it still did, because it's added to this confusion. Will this device work? Oh, let's plug it in, And there's no sort of backward compatibility where it falls back to USB if there's no Thunderbolt. It's Thunderbolt or it doesn't work. But it's still going to plug into a Type-C connector, which is the exact same as USB-C, and it's done with purpose. But it's very confusing. And now USB 4 has already been standardized, so we'll start seeing USB 4 stuff coming out. Will we be continuing work on the Beast next week? I don't think so, but maybe. Carrie, where is your Christmas sweater? Mitch is wearing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Listen, I hope you all have a very wonderful evening tonight. Spend it with family and loved ones. I hope that...
Drink plenty of eggnog. Just kidding. All right.
Yeah, if you're vegan.
Oh, okay.
Not eggnog?
Not eggnog. Yeah.
Be merry.
Yeah.
Or Fred or Joan.
Okay. Yeah.
Or Joseph. However, I do hope that you have a nice evening and stress-free. Stay home. Don't go anywhere. Stay home. It's much better. You go out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave the house anymore. This is it.
Okay.
I think Howard Hughes got it right.
Okay.
So, no, but do and be safe out there. If you're going to be on the road, watch all those other drivers out there, because, and don't be one of those, And have a happy and memorable 2021 Christmas. We will see you all again after the holiday. And we very much hope nothing but the best for you and yours. Health, happiness, and all the materialistic stuff you want that makes you temporarily happy. Find your inner peace. That's the best gift.
Yep.
Have you seen mine? It's been gone a long time. I misplaced it somewhere.
I buried it. All right.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you all again very, very soon. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Well, we'll say happy. We've got another show New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So we're working on the holidays, kind of. Is today?
Happy holidays, everyone.
Did you hear that?
I did. Yeah.
Was that the ghost of Christmas past?
That's the ghost of the camera operator.
The camera operator ghost?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
That's why all the camera shots look like this. Now I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who let the elf in?
Yeah.
I didn't even know the elf could get off of the shelf by itself. That even rhymes. All right, we're going to end on that. Thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
I feel like I took all the wind out of your sail.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Want to do it again?
You always have to get the last word.
I don't have to get the last word.
Let me get the last word.
No, I don't have to get the last word.
It's good enough. Bye for now.
No.
Okay.
Do it again.
Bye for now.
No.
Oh.
Not that.
Oh.
You want to get best wishes or anything like
Oh.
that?
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Well, then what am I going to say?
Bye for now.
Oh, all right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Good thing this isn't
Yeah,
live.
yeah. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Bye for now.